Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. You're watching StarLadder Star Series. It is still Season 8. We are in day 18. And officially this is actually game 3 of the day. Game 4 of the day. But it's actually game 3. Because we had to reschedule one of the games due to massive amount of server issues. We are now good though. We're fine. We're relaxed. And that's also the team that's here on the dire side. Relax, you're doing fine. Formerly known as Poseidon will be on the dire side, facing Na'Vi on the radiant side. With the full roster. Happy times. And of course I'm not by myself. I'm actually now joined by two gentlemen. One is the one that will prevent you what? Will give you all the stats that you need. Present. No. The other one is my co-caster that's going to help me out of this awkward situation. Hello, the advance.
The words provide.
Provide!
That's a good word.
I was going to say provide.
What's this screen Shiva? It's such a long time since I've been here. I'm not sure I recognize it.
Well,
Is this the draft?
This is the draft, yes.
Wow. We finally get to have the game.
What that looks
I'm pretty
like.
excited now.
Yeah,
10 seconds remaining.
We cannot disconnect because the Dota 2 network just went down again.
So like no matter what happens,
No
we
matter
better not disconnect.
Yes.
All
Nobody is allowed to disconnect.
I can adhere to that. I can adhere to that.
So, let's see what we have here, because of course, because the previous game got postponed, the draft actually, or the scores actually didn't change from the last time you saw them. We still have Na'Vi sitting on 10 to 7 to 3, that means that they have 10 games played, 7 wins, 3 losses. Sitting on a 6th place in the rankings and are trying to move up, of course, because only the top 4 makes it out. And then on the other side, you've got yourself Relax. They have got 8 games, or sorry, they are number 8 in the rankings right now, but that's because they have got 12 games played, 7 wins, 5 losses, so the same amount of wins as Na'Vi. So the winner of this game will be actually above the other. But for Relax, it doesn't really matter that much anymore. Their chances of going to the playoffs are quite low, with 5 losses to their name, unless a lot of people are starting to throw from this point onward. For Na'Vi, it's kind of more important because they still have a good shot on getting to the playoffs, but they can't afford to lose more than even, like, I think they can lose maybe 1 game, but then it's not up to them if they make it through. Then it's up to other teams in StarLadder to fail so that Na'Vi can make it through. So it's quite a difficult situation for Na'Vi to be in at that point. We'll see if they can continue keeping their hopes alive, because they kind of need to win this game.
Yeah, and luckily for Na'Vi, one thing that they have come up with a plan with, which is just draft the same stuff over and over again, because her host right now is pretty much exclusively playing Luna. Is that their new tactic? Yep. And they're picking Bristleback as often as possible. I mean, if it works, don't break it, you know? Or don't fix it.
That's true.
Whatever.
Well,
don't
you
break
also
it either,
shouldn't break it.
that would be bad. That would be terrible.
But why fix what isn't broken? That's the one that you were looking for, I think. So Timbersaw goes the way of Relax. We're gonna have a Timbersaw and a Crystal Main, 2 solid heroes. I'm not too big of a fan of Timbersaw lately anymore. I mean, he kind of is, like, I'm more into heroes that can actually fulfill multiple roles, because we've seen Bristleback in different kind of roles, even though I'm gonna assume that Funnick is gonna play this one again. But Timbersaw is kind of one-trick pony, kind of. Well, he needs a solo lane. Like, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, very much needs a solo lane. He can't do without that really high level of XP. And having somebody else in his lane as well is almost like dead weight with Timbersaw, because he has a very strange way of laning, and he doesn't actually mind being harassed too much, as long as he's putting out the same sort of level of harass. It's a very interesting hero, and yeah, I think he's a little bit weaker, just because drafting is so strong now in this patch. It's something that you really have to do well in, but Timbersaw is a pickup. I don't mind it too much. I think it's pretty strong versus a Luna, because sort of at the mark where Timbersaw picks up his first level of Chakram, he actually can really, really beat Luna out of the lane, even kill her.
Yeah, she'll take quite a large chunk of harassment. I agree with that, but that's, I guess, why Na'Vi picked himself up a Shadow Demon, because that's going to be keeping Luna hopefully safe. As, well, it seems like with Dota 2 down, Dota TV won't load. Well, that's a shame.
They should all go to the stream. It's fine.
Yes. Well, like, we're telling that to them now, but they can't hear us because they can't get into Dota TV.
Well, I'm sure they'll work it out.
True.
I'm sure people who know how Dota TV works know that there are also live streams. I assume the number of people who know how Dota TV works, but don't know what Twitch is very low.
Yes,
there's
I
like
would
2 or 3
assume
people.
that is the case. 2 or 3.
Hopefully.
You actually think there
2
are
or
people?
3. Well, I mean, I saw the picture of the guy with his 2 MMR. Did you see that? It was
Yes.
on Reddit. The guy managed to get 2 as his MMR, which is like a whole new level of sadness. I feel so bad for that guy. Like, does he have eyes
Yeah,
and
but did
stuff?
he,
Like, I genuinely think he must, like,
Doesn't that mean that, like, wouldn't he do that on purpose? Like, just feed? Wouldn't you then get
I'm not sure you could. I'm not sure I could purposely feed that much. Like, you'd have to come up with new and more interesting ways of feeding and losing games that are almost unlosable.
Well,
Like, because it's based on your performance according to your team as well. So you
Yes.
have to have like the best players on your team and lose really badly.
True.
So
Well,
I don't know.
put a lot of effort into that.
Actually, this Shadow Demon pick is looking to be really, really smart now for Na'Vi. And this is odd because I think Shadow Demon has really been a hero that just fell off and then was completely forgotten. But versus both Clinks and Timbersaw, Shadow Demon is very, very useful versus Clinks for just sort of sitting in wait behind people and then being like, oh, you've been orchided, I'll save you. So that is, of course, if we do see that straight orchid rush Clinks. Generally, we've seen Clinks be a little bit more adaptable now since he got those buffs recently.
I have to say, we saw Kuroki Shadow Demon, I think yesterday games. He was like, I during the draft, I don't really normally like Shadow Demon, and during the draft I kind of, you know, let that be known and stuff. And then during the game, Kuroki was able to pull off some really big plays because the Demonic Purge is the one thing that he was able to just dominate with that. Really, I was impressed with the Shadow
Demonic Purge is really
Demon play.
underrated.
Yeah.
Demonic Purge is a really underrated spell because it's a massive slow. It does some pretty good damage as well, and it purges a lot of different useful things, like runes and stuff like that. It's really, really powerful, and it goes through the slow goes through BKB as well.
Yeah.
So, I think that's one of the best things about Shadow Demon actually. That's really overlooked. That, and he's very, very useful for helping people focus and very useful for saving your allies. But Demonic Purge is a fantastic spell and really useful in combination with the Bristleback as well.
Exactly. The slow is going to be also, I mean, Clinks most of all will probably want to BKB at some point. Well, won't help him this time. You kind of have to start looking at the Lincolns at that point, but then you also have to look at the BKB for against the Luna Eclipse. I like the pickup. I do. Even though normally I wouldn't, but in this case I would. Let's take a look if Relax is gonna random a hero. No, they're gonna go for the Leshrac. Well, that is a hero that we haven't seen in a while. Of course, you do have the Crystal Main to set the stun up with, which is nice and all. But it's still kind of interesting to see. And they can pick this up with knowing that there won't be a Rubik pickup, so they won't be having their spells used against them and be better to be used against them as well. By the way, the Chen got picked up into a Clinks, which is not something that we normally see, because Clinks is a bit of a semi-counter against a Chen, though I believe that Nahas can probably show us the stats for that, which are, for last time I saw a stat about that, not that impressive in favor of the Clinks, but he can of course eat the creeps of the Chen.
Yeah, and those Chen creeps with extra amount of health, because Chen gives his creeps extra health, can really make Clinks scary for a short duration. When was the last time you saw a game in which Shadow Demon and Leshrac were actually drafted together in professional game? That's a long time ago. I think it's nice to see these heroes coming back, because it's always nice to see as wide a hero pool being used as possible. Of course, you don't want it to the point where you can just pick anything all the time. You want it to be, you know, tactical. But Na'Vi are going to go with Storm Spirit here. Storm Spirit, very, very powerful hero, very useful with Bristleback, because he can start the fight and initiate from very long range, and then actually be like, oh, okay, I'm going to leave this little kill for the Bristleback, and then come in later and help clean up around it. So I really like this move. Smart move.
Yeah, a very active hero as well. I think that definitely suits Navi's playstyle. And up against a Dragon Knight, he should be having a decent time as well. Dragon Knight, just, I don't know. I see the value in Dragon Knight, because he's definitely a good, solid hero to have. But if you're up against a lineup of which you know is going to be aggressive, then I'm not too sure about it. Though they do have a lot of pushing power with the Dragon Knight and the Leshrac on the side of Relax. And that could be quite scary, because right now, if either team wins the fight, because also Na'Vi of course has a lot of pushing power with the Luna Aura and the Chen creeps. If either team wins a fight, I think towers are going to drop real fast, so I don't think we're going to have a very long game regardless of how the game goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if either team gets up things like BKBs, that extra bit of survivability. I think we could see a very, very tactical game in this game, a lot of maneuvering around, because both these teams look relatively even as far as how they can fight. Na'Vi obviously a bit more maneuverable, but then the side of Relax also have a Timber Saw, so that kind of negates the fact that Na'Vi have their maneuverable Storm Spirit, and I mean Storm Spirit a bit less efficient with his mana when he moves around. That's something that's really, really crucial, and it's probably one of the few criticisms I would actually have of Dendi's Storm Spirit. He uses a ton of mana, probably more than any other professional Storm Spirit player I've seen. I've seen him regularly go straight into the middle of a fight using 2/3 of his mana, which will be interesting to see. I mean, it's always very, very all-in to go with the Storm Spirit, just because the hero is so squishy and can fall to a visit point, especially with things like Clinks in the field, where, you know, if one of them gets the Orchid first, the other one is kind of screwed.
Yeah, let's take a look at who is playing what, as apparently the Timber Saw is not doing so great lately. But on the side of Na'Vi, I don't think it should come as a surprise to anybody that Havos is playing the Luna again, Funnick is playing the Bristlebuck again, then he's playing the Storm for the first time today, yay. We're gonna have Puppy's Chen also for the first time today, but it is one of his signature heroes. And then Kuroki is gonna play a Shadow Demon, which I'm personally looking forward to seeing, because I just really hope that he can make the same kind of plays as we saw him do, I believe it was yesterday. Otherwise it was Monday. It was this week anyway.
Yeah, and on the off lane for the side of Relax is going to be Shaklo. He is going to go onto that Timber Saw, which is one of the heroes that we talked about in this draft not having a particularly good time recently. On the mid solo for the team, it is going to be Tame My Wild. He's going to go onto the Dragon Knight for the team. The support, first of them, is going to be KSI. He's on the Crystal Maiden. And Dread, he's going to be picking at the Leshrac for the team. And last but not least, the carry for the team, it's going to be Nexus. He's going to be going onto the safe lane Clinks here. We'll be interested to see what build he goes for. I think this is definitely an Orchid game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I would totally agree, especially because of that Storm Spirit right there, as I'm kind of hoping that Clinks is going to be solo top. Havos, what are you doing? Havos is doing Havosy things. Now he will be able to pick up a regen rune, which is great for him, and he probably was only doing that because he knew he could get that, but that was still interesting, interesting plays. If there was another person around there, he might not have been alive. I mean, Leshrac Splitter's coming out there. But no, Leshrac is top, so one of the things that I'm really hoping is that Leshrac Dread is going to move bottom, because Clinks needs a bit of a solo lane. He needs that experience. He needs all his farm. And I think he would do well up against the Bristleback by himself. Doesn't need to have any help from there, from a Leshrac or something like that. I'm assuming the Crystal Maiden is not going to be on the lane, but it's going to be in the jungle at the start, so that's going to help out anyways. But it's still interesting, as we have got Tame My Wild having a bit of issues dealing with Dendi here. And indeed he is right. Dota Network is back. Oh,
yeah.
Down. It's back apparently, according to my chat.
I don't even want to try. I don't want to know. Just play, please.
Well,
yeah.
It's quite a difficult hero to have very low FPS on, Leshrac that is, because you need to aim and time it perfectly, everything.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to follow his CM around, and every time someone gets frostbitten, then he's gonna just stun.
That could be.
And just play like the dumb version of the hero. But yeah, as you're talking about in the mid lane, Dendi is gonna do really well here versus Tame My Wild. I mean, I think we've talked about this a few times before with Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight's pretty much the solo mid that you go, we need a solo mid. Does anyone have an idea of what we could play? No? Well, then we'll just pick Dragon Knight, because he's always useful.
Yeah.
He can get... He's always going to do in the lane. He does struggle against a lot of the top solo mids, especially some of those sort of traditional ones that we think of. Things like Queen of Pain, Puck, and Storm Spirit all do very, very well versus the Dragon Knight. And, I mean, Dendi is crushing this matchup for the most part, and that's not surprising. I don't think we should be surprised by that at all.
Yeah, I agree. Luckily, at least for Tame My Wild, he will have his bottle, so he should be able to stay alive. But as said, then he should get ahead in last hits. In the meantime, Funnick is trying to pull the wave back towards the neutral creeps, because he also gets creeps denied against him because of the Leshrac pulling. Dread, who is now sitting next to an Invis rune, or...
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Well,
Okay.
is anyone reconnecting? Please. I think Cyborg Mac summed up exactly what everyone is thinking.
Yeah, oh, they're back.
Hey!
Hey, we don't disconnect. We're awesome.
We haven't disconnected at all. Like, I'm really surprised by that. I don't think a single time I've ever disconnected from a lobby like this. And I don't think I've seen you really.
I think I might have done
I don't know what it
once
is
or
with
so.
everyone else.
But yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I'd never have. I don't know why it is. I've just not been in enough lobbies, basically.
Maybe
I've been a
that's
caster for a
that's
little
problem.
while.
Dendy has just used everything on his bottle. It looks like they want to try for this. A Dragon Tail will come out. Crystal Maiden coming in as well. Dendy should be first blood here. The Edict. There's no Split Earth, just Edict. But the first blood goes to the Breathe Fire of Team Wild. Nicely done. Good rotation in. And surprising Dendy completely. So, that's the first blood on the board.
Yeah, and that's almost a little bit of mind games there. That's a really, really smart thing to do. It's been talked about a few times before. Whenever you have gaps between... Oh dear. But whenever you have gaps between things, like whenever you have a pause or a disconnect, or, you know, sometimes you have games that are postponed after the draft, like the last game that we just had, which is going to be played some other time, people are not quite ready for things. They're always, you know, even the best professional players struggle a little bit just for the first few seconds sometimes even, when they come straight back into the game and you're like, okay, I need to be concentrating on last hitting or something, and then suddenly there are two heroes in your lane. So really smart rotation from Relax. I mean, they were going to do it beforehand anyway, and I think it's a smart rotation to take just because it's Dendy Storm Spirit. He's obviously going to be crushing the mid lane, so you want to do what you can about him. So it looks like things are carrying on here, but yeah, they get that first blood. Nice skill from the Leshrac as well.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he had the Edict on. I mean, there were some creeps around. But maybe he went for the Edict because he realized, you know what, I don't have the right FPS. I just need to have a spell that I don't need to aim.
Yeah, there's that.
Oh,
and
Tema
this
Wild
is
might
pretty
actually be the
useful.
one to die here. Nah, never mind.
No, Dendy's just trying to really make this lane as hard as possible for Tame My Wild. Tame My Wild started with a stick, and he's been pretty much constantly bottle crowing, and will pretty much have to in this lane. It's incredibly hard for a Dragon Knight in this lane, even with a stick. He's really low on health.
Yeah, in the meantime, Avos is free farming here bottom. He's 22 for 8. Whoa, I didn't have last hits on. I had net worth on. But no, last hit wise, he is doing very well. Storm and him, so Denny and Avos are highest on that on the last hits. Though Klings is keeping up, so we can't compare Klings to Avos. The difference is not that big. The main difference comes from the offlaners, which is actually not that big anymore either. Shackle sitting on 9 for 0, while Phonic sitting now on 10 to 1. Level 4 for him, level 4 for Shackle.
Oh, Kuroki, puppy.
Oh, rotation by Tama Wild. Soul Catcher working out there. Disruption not even used.
Yeah, that would have been one of those. That would have been one of those terrible disruptions that you see occasionally, where you basically save someone's health. That was save someone's life. That was really, really smart rotation from them. They did have to use a smoke for it, possibly a little bit unnecessary, but they do get the kill for Dendy. And one thing that Nahaz pointed out there is that DK, not too bad a hero versus Storm Spirit as far as, you know, within the draft and such, because, you know, as things go later and as the game progresses, then the hero is a lot more reliable perhaps than Storm Spirit. But in the lane, Dendy will crush this Dragon Knight, and has been pretty well. He's topping the CS charts for the moment. It's kind of like the Clinks Chen interaction.
They're gonna try it again. Kuroki just showing himself. Timawal will just keep on running. Let's see if Kuroki can catch up. Both have boots, and actually, Timawal comes back. What? But at least he doesn't have his teammates anymore, so perhaps that's the reason why Timawal picked up. That was kind of risky.
Yeah, I think he saw that Dendy was still sitting mid, and was just like, I think I can get away with this. But yeah, sometimes you have interesting hero matchups like that, like the Chen Clinks thing. The reason that Chen is so good versus Clinks is he's a strong pusher in the mid lane though. Oh, nice stun by Tame My Wild. Dendy jumped in.
Is not gonna
he's
give
going to
up.
continue going, but yeah, they can't dive this any further.
Nope. That's a heavy commitment, by the way, from Kuroki and Poppy. They've been here now for a while, haven't gotten anything after that one kill just now. I used a lot of time. In the meantime, Luna Vost did just pick up her Hand of Midas, or his Hand of Midas. So should have some free farm, but he is gonna get ganked. Frostbite coming out, that should be a kill. Going away with KSI's Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, another smart rotation for them, and showing off again one of the reasons why going straight Hand of Midas in particular is so very, very dangerous to do, because you don't have an item that actually does anything right there and now. You essentially have what, I don't even know the exact cost of Hand of Midas. It's 2,100. It's 2,550, is it? I'm not sure.
2,050.
Okay, 2,050 is the cost of Hand of Midas now, which is 2,050 item gold that could have gone into treads and a bracer, perhaps. And he would be a lot more survivable there. He would have probably still died to that gank,
yeah,
but he might have had a chance to turn things around. Kuroki might have got there in time. TPs might come in from his allies. So, but it is still a really early Hand of Midas, and it's a hero that eventually will pretty much outcarry the Clinks. So, interesting decision there from Havos to just go for it anyway, even though he's against a Timbersaw, which is a hero who can solo kill him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, of course, we just talked about the rotations of the Shadow Demon and the Chen, about them not being as successful in the mid lane, but I wouldn't expect them to give them up so fast. I mean, support a Vost, make sure he doesn't get ganked, and he might actually get ganked again because KSI and Shaklo are looking for something. They don't find any support, but they might just go for Vost again, and they do have the power to take him down. Eclipse is there, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough with the creep wave around.
Yeah,
they go
look at
for the
Havos
midway though.
positioning.
Take him wild. He's dead. He's a dead man. Or is he? Should be. Yes, he is. Kuroki with the last hit coming out. It was close though.
Yeah, Dendi is looking very, very low from this, not doing quite as well as you maybe expected in this matchup, and I think that's because they got the first blood on him, and that's really important. And look at the efficiency with his mana here, dropping all his items. And you know you're a good player when you can do that and consistently.
Oh, hello. Navos, he knows very well what the Crystal Maiden is, but he's gonna TP out, and that means, yeah, him seeing Timbersaw coming in, he realized that wasn't the right plan. But an Invis rune for Kuroki. Maybe they can make something happen against that Timbersaw, but Timbersaw, he saw him picking up that Invis rune, so he backs himself back to the creep wave, back into safety. Not sure, maybe Shadow Demon can still do something here. Maybe Shaklo is gonna walk away with.
It's kind of hard for them to kill Shaklo, to be honest. I don't think they can get this kill. They might just try it. At the very least, it will force him out the lane.
Yeah, and if they have the creep wave down, then you can have a nice eclipse. But it looks like Shaklo is very careful here, so he's aware of it.
Yeah, and Havost here, he's actually going to be playing really, really greedy. He's picked up a Helm of Ironwall, so this is going to be a straight Midas Helm of the Dominator, which is pretty much the fastest farming build you can go for on a Luna, really. I mean, there's nothing else that'll make you farm faster than this, but it's very, very greedy. Early on, he's not going to have much in the way of HP. It'll be interesting to see how this works out for them, especially because they do have heroes like Clinks and such, who is rushing an Orchid. I'm worried about the mid game of Na'Vi if this carries on like this.
Yeah, me too. I'm also worried about mid lane of Na'Vi, where Dendi actually was able to escape from a gank, but it does show that Relax have got the upper hand in terms of control on this lane, actually. Maybe after he's back to human form, it will change around, or maybe they can make something happen with Funnick coming in, who is standing around waiting for either the 10-minute rune, which is gonna make him wait for another 20 seconds. Would be kinda awkward. And he can't stand there without being seen, because Relax have got a ward there, so Funnick will be spotted out, and Tame of Wild will be extra careful. In the meantime, indeed, the Clinks, his Orchid is almost done, as in he is farming really fast, and it's gonna be really scary, because if he can have that on, I mean, there's nobody that is safe for him then, apart from the Bristleback.
Yeah, Clinks right now, 71 last hit in 10 minutes is very, very good farm. It's very, very hard to hit that level of farm, especially when you're working with Clinks, who has a terrible attack animation. Looks like Funnick's going to go on him here. I'm not sure about this though, Funnick. This could get you killed.
Oh, following Tamer Wild, he gets ganked upon. The Soul Catcher will be there as well. There should be a kill. Nicely done. Smoke gank coming in from Poppy and Kuroki. They did it earlier as well, and this time, well, once again successful, where Dread actually gets a Demonic Purge. He does pop his Edict up, and are they going to chase this? Nah, they're not. Too risky. Actually, Dendi is going to chase this. Very low on mana, but doesn't matter. Almost gets him, but not just yet. In comes a Vost. Rotation is complete. 4 heroes here from Na'Vi, but they might be punished for it because Shackle comes in as well. His Chakram. Oh, Avosi comes back. Nice teamer chain away from Shackle. The Eclipse not really doing as much as it should be. Nexus in the meantime. He's here as well. He's ready for it. He's ready for killing off someone. He just has to pick a target. Looks like both Avos and Puppy are getting away. Maybe Funnick is gonna let himself get cut out though, but he moves back to the top lane. Looks like we're gonna continue with our standoff here on the middle lane. Tame Wild is back on full health and full mana though.
Yeah, that was a really, really dangerous dive from the side of Na'Vi. They had to go and protect Havos there. He even basically dropped his Eclipse because he knew otherwise he was going to get gone on and die. Whereas if he drops his Eclipse there, then maybe the side of Relax are kind of scared of going on him and... Hey guys, pauses. Doesn't... Yeah, I have no idea what's low. What's low?
Ochen.
Ochen. What does that mean? How is that helpful? Oh, well...
Oh, I don't know. From it takes 0.7 seconds. That's
behind Lina, the hero with the most horrifying attack animation ever. That hero is awful. As far as animation.
But there's a great range on her now.
Yeah, that's true. She's got a higher base range than like Sniper and stuff, which I find hilarious. Lina is Sniper now.
Well, if you're on the lane and you're harassing your opponent, it's just so easy. And by the time your hit actually hits, you're way far away. Because indeed, the time that projectile actually flies, I mean, you're gonna be able to walk away again as well. So I like it. Oh, Avos, what are you doing there? Careful. He realized he should be careful though. He's actually a level higher than Shaklo at the moment. It's close though. I mean, Avos sit actually. It's almost a level, I guess. Hand of Might.
Yeah, difference is Shaklo's got all items to help him fight now, and Havost is sitting on a Midas and a Helm of Iron Will, which he is going to turn into a Helm of the Dominator, I really hope, at least. But it looks like they're really trying to gank him up here. Dread is actually breaking trees with his Split Earth just to get closer. I think this might be really next level. Shaklo might like open up the trees for Dread, so Dread can just come like rushing out.
No, the ping came out. They know he's there. Havost pinked on the trees.
They know, yeah.
Because if
it's because you can hear the Split Earth if you're a Havost, can't you?
And because you can see the trees missing, right?
No, you don't see the trees missing. No, the ping comes out. They know it.
Look at that.
Yeah, but he doesn't see the trees missing. He just hears it.
Look at like Dendi is gonna jump in.
Yeah, but now they see because they just dropped the static remnant.
Oh,
which
they
gives
find him.
Vision.
They're gonna go for him. Soulcatcher comes up on Shaklo. Then comes the Zip. Goes for someone. Who is he gonna Vortex? Is he gonna Vortex? Anyway, double stun from that Centaur. Vortex up on Tame Wild. Split Earth is not gonna hit on Denny anymore. He's already zipped himself out. The Centaur is the one to fall here, but he is the only casualty of war here on the side of Na'Vi. Nobody else dies. Also, oh, Tame Wild losing beam, interrupting him from teleporting in. Kuroki, Split Earth up on 2. Whoa, that Breeze Fire did a lot of damage. It's not gonna kill off anybody though. In the meantime, it's another kill going the way of Dendi. This time Leshrac dies. Kuroki was very close to dying there, but it looks like he'll be making it out alive. Same thing goes for Luna, but they can't really mix themselves up in the fight anymore because it's too risky. Unless someone can share some health with them. Funnick might want to share the bottle.
This was a really, really dangerous fight for the side of Relax here, because the thing is, Na'Vi bring in everybody, whereas Relax, well, they left their Clinks to go and take the top tower. It's a relatively okay trade for them, but now Dendi is starting to work up towards his BKB first, which he really needs this game. I think this is one of the few games where you kind of have to go BKB first. He's not actually been shut down, which is the time where you normally see Storm Spirits actually go BKB first, but it's not actually an item build that has much of a success usually, but that's because usually the situation that demands BKB first is very bad. I don't think it's as bad this game though.
No, I'm kind of scared right now for when Nexus starts to rotate. He just took down a tower by himself, so he got himself some extra gold. He's got his Orchid, and he's just like, I'm waiting for him to start hunting. He already ran into Dendi just a while ago when Dendi picked up a rune, and I guess that rune was the reason why he didn't go, because it was a regen rune, and then he should be able to get himself away afterwards anyway. But I'm thinking like this is the time for him to start hunting, though I guess Na'Vi knows that because they're just grouped up. They're ready for fighting.
Yeah, they're just trying to 5-man down a couple of these towers, so they're actually kind of struggling to. Relax has pretty good counter push just with the Dragon Knight.
Well, that's not a very high win rate with the first side on BKB, but yeah, he kind of needs to. Nexus is already sitting ready. They look to be wanting to contest this tower. We've got only 3 heroes here of Na'Vi though. Or maybe 4 with Funnick coming in. Funnick first is going to go finish up his Vanguard.
I think he's going to finish off his Vanguard, yeah. And this makes him a lot stronger for this fight. He might be really strong here. Relax though. They really want to take this fight. Look at their positioning right now. All up above him on the high ground. They're baiting the Dragon Knight here.
Yeah, oh, they've been spotted. They've been spotted. This is Na'Vi backing off, or perhaps they still want to go in. In comes the Eclipse, forcing Shackalo back, and a lot of damage coming out on Drag. No split Dread, no split Earth anymore. Tower fortified for now. Demonic Purge already up on Nexus. He is able to get himself away, and they go for Tama Wild. Vortex, he's dead. Double kill for Dandy. 3 heroes left alive on Relax. Everybody up for Na'Vi, and they're not backing off just yet. They've got themselves the mechanism. They still got the Hand of God as well, and they can make an army of skeleton warriors. So this is gonna be a tier 2 tower, and Relax,
this is a
they
dead
can't
tower.
fight.
This is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing Relax can do about this, because right now Na'Vi have got really good survivability when they're as a group. They have their Chen, they're even walking around with the Wild Wing there, who's actually really not very good at this sort of stage of the game where they're trying to do this sort of thing. But he adds the bonus 3 armor and a big aura around them, and I think Puppey actually kept that creep there just for that. And Nexus, well, he's been eating enemy creeps all over the map though. He's just eaten the Helm of the Dominated creep and Kuroki. Maybe you're gonna go down. This could be bad, but Nexus apparently he's playing really conservatively here, and he really needs to make something done for his team, because right now they can't contest them.
Well, then he's not playing conservatively. He just was able to pick up Dread. He is gonna be Orchid though. Turns on his BKB and zips himself out. Can't really fight this, but this is the reason why you pick up a BKB up against that Clinks. Just get away from that.
Absolutely.
It is a 10-second BKB charge though, but yeah.
Yeah, but BKB isn't as great versus Clinks anymore, and I'd argue even that the Lincoln Sphere essentially does the same job for him. I think he just picked this up because there is a Crystal Maiden, a Leshrac as well. Although Crystal Maiden can't stun him, Lesh can, but it's really hard to do with his Storm Spirit. I don't know, I feel like a Lincoln's maybe would have been enough this game. BKB, it doesn't really make much of a difference. The only other thing that you're going to get hit by stuns-wise is Dragon Tail. And everything else is pretty dodgeable or doesn't actually affect you. What a deny.
They go on Dread though. He already turned on his Nova. He is gonna die. And that's gonna be a kill for Luna. It's 9-2. Onus is being called. It is gonna be a gold graph that is like planting trees for Na'Vi. Already about 7,500 gold ahead. Experience graph not looking any different. It's a bit more graduate though, but still very much in favor of Na'Vi. And Na'Vi actually, I mean, again, why not, right? I mean, who's gonna stop them from going in? Another creep taken down. They actually go for Nexus. They force him out. Puppey, not overextending too much. Tower still standing. Tama Wild is going in. He still has his Dragon Tail. Just needs to look for the right target. They are taking down Gen creeps, so there's only one left alive. It's gonna get picked up now as well. So that's Puppey losing all the creeps. And I think it should be the time our Na'Vi backs off, unless there's gonna be some big mistake from Relax to just throw, basically. Or maybe
yeah, this is a really hard situation for them. But Dendi, he's just, yeah, he knows what's coming. It's very easy for him to just avoid this gank.
Yeah.
Nexus might come round, but
well,
he's gonna find Kuroki and Puppey there. They're gonna go on Tama Wild.
Yeah, Dandy wants it. Soul Catcher on there. Tama Wild still alive. Stick Charge is keeping him up. Split Earth from Dread. Dodge. That's gonna be Kuroki still with a kill. In the meantime, Nexus looking for a target, looking for a kill. Finds only the Orchid up on Puppey, but can't do anything off the back of that. And that was, by the way, Dandy sent home by the
he was sent home mid-ball. It looks very cool when that happens.
I was actually kind of confused where he went.
He gonna go on anyone here? They're really chasing him down.
Yeah, they can't interrupt him though. They do see him, of course. The Gem of Truth set up on Puppey, make sure of that, but no vision. As in no.
Oh wow, very early gem pickup for Puppey, and I think this is a really smart move from them. They have their mech, they have their Hand of God, and that's why they're able to go very aggressive, take these towers.
Then they too aggressive with his BKB still on cooldown. The Soul Burn, Hand of God keeps him up. Otherwise, the Soul Burn would have taken him down. But preventive Hand of God. In comes the Smoke Gank. Zip in! Tama Wild are gonna be the target, but Dandy reveal too much there maybe. Goes for Nexus instead. Good target. Can they shut him down? Looks like they might be able to. He's get slowed down. The Snot is there, and that's a kill for Dendy. Unstoppable right now. Puppy's still in a lot of trouble, but he'll live through all of this. Kuroki not so lucky. He got picked up at the back of the fight by the Timbersaw. In the meantime, that's a Dragon Tail on Funnick. He'll end up living though, or should be able to end up living. Frostbite coming out. He's still alive for the moment. Tries to run for it. Nice blocking being done by Relax. Another Dragon Tail. In comes Dendy. He wants to help out his teammate. Can't do that anymore. Now looking for revenge. Denied. That's also healing up Tamar well. And now Dread comes in with a Nova. In comes Havos, saving teammate after teammate. And he is able to get the double kill to successfully save Dendy. It is a 3-for-2 exchange. Very well worth it. And Havos showing off his newly acquired BKB.
Yeah, and this is really a style that really suits the side of Na'Vi here. They actually created a really chaotic fight where Dendy almost purposely overextended there. He used up too much mana for kills that were really hard to get. The Bloodstone did manage to save them, but then Havos comes in to back him up at just the right time. I think that's really smart play from the side of them. Even if it is technically Dendy overextending on Storm Spirit, which is something he almost purposely does, I feel, which is I think a really interesting concept, just to see him purposely really go deep because he knows his team could be there to support him, and it can set up really nice fights for them and force Relax to make mistakes as well.
Yeah, one thing that I'm expecting from Na'Vi at this point is that they go bottom lane. So far, once they've started pushing on the lanes, take both the tier 1 and the tier 2. And there's one lane still left that has both of those towers up, so I would assume Na'Vi push bottom, take the tier 1 and tier 2 there as well, just get themselves that extra gold to their names, and then maybe take Roshan and then go high ground. Looks like Relax is gonna try to stop that though. For a second there I thought they were gonna smoke up, but just gathering up around the Roche pit. They also know what they can expect from Na'Vi at this point, of course. It has been, I guess, a bit predictable, considering your other lanes of towers are already down.
Yeah, and they kind of expect it. I'm not sure they should take this fight though. Right now, the best thing they could be doing maybe would be just trading towers. They won't get them quite as fast, but Klinks will help with getting them pretty fast. They have Lesh as well. And when you're behind, trading gold evenly is winning, essentially, or is coming back into the game, because you know, as things go later, gold means less and less. I mean, it's only 22 minutes in, but Na'Vi are racking up a pretty strong gold lead here. Especially in regards to how their core heroes are doing compared to how the core heroes on the side of Relax are doing. You can see the DK is actually below the Chen's net worth right now.
Yeah, that's quite worrisome. As where was that courier? Oh, hello. Nexus. Making sure that the courier dies. Indeed.
Yeah, and they know Na'Vi's trying for Roshan now. They're going to try and interrupt this, but this is a really dangerous fight for them to take.
Yeah, if they lose this fight, it might be just more than an Aegis. In comes the Eclipse already, and DK, no BKB indeed. It's going to cost him his life. Klink's already dead as well. It will be Dread picked up third, and it looks to be just a massacre. Shackle is going to try to get away, but he won't be able to do that either. And Dendy completely out of mana, but he doesn't care. He wants to get the Crystal Main. We have a disconnect from Nexus. It could be the disconnect that says GG, but it could also be a server issue. Everybody standing still? Stop standing still. Oh god.
Oh no. Well, Na'Vi did win the fight before that happened anyway, I think.
Yeah, they called it GG.
I think the side of Relax understand that fight at this point leaves them open to losing racks. 24 minutes in with their hero set. They simply can't deal with that, or at the very least, they don't want to have to try and play that. It's a very stressful thing to say. Alright guys, 24 minutes in, we're going to play from 1 racks down. So they call the GG. Not a bad fight early on from Relax. I thought they were going to do better, just from how their start began, but Na'Vi just really balled out of control there. They concentrated a lot on making sure Dendy did well too.
Yeah. God, I just can't, like... the server. Oh, frustration coming out. Anyways.
Service is so good.
Yeah. We're gonna have ourselves our official 4th game of the day. I say 4th, but I mean 5th. Well, actually, it's our 4th game that we'll see, but it's the 5th game on the roster, so, you know, we make up for yourself what you make, what you want. We were slightly behind schedule. Surprise, servers being crap today. We're gonna see SSD taking on... I want to say the retry. Oh, it is
It's
right?
the retry.
Okay, because they're
Yeah, it
facing the
is.
retry and OSD. I was kind of confused which one of the two first. But the retry first up against SSD will be our next matchup. So stick around. We'll be hopefully right back with a game with a successfully loaded in-game. We'll see.